Alright. I'll try to make this quick. Best I can. I was just in the middle of watching the review, not review, but the rant of nerdrotic.com's Cutie. I'm sorry. Yes, I had a beer. Yes, and love this stuff. It's really good. But okay. When I first heard about this, I thought, well, I must be in some, you know. Okay, when I first heard this, I'll get back to that. Because what the premise of this is, or what is described to me, is that an 11-year-old girl runs off to join basically what amounts to the circus. Excuse me. And it's like, and she learns to do twerking, a twerking dance routine with a couple of other girls to have like a dance competition or something like that. And I thought to myself, well, it would have to be in some third world country, where, kids on the street corner are pimping and stuff. Like that would be a bit more of an understanding environment. But no, they showed a picture of it. They're in actual like professional costumes, like you have at the Olympics of any real sport. That's official garb, and it's like that 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 doesn't compute. They're too young and it's too professionally uh, um, centered. It has a competition. It looks like they're in like New York or something like that. It's like, how? How is that supposed to work? Again, I'm a very accepting human being, for fuck's sake. I got movies here I got Howard the Duck on DVD, not VHS, DVD. Yeah, and a bunch of other lesser known films. Now I have the MS3K's version episode of Manos, The Hands of Fate. And so I'm a very accepting individual when it comes to movies. I mean, I tried really super hard to like Strange Magic. I ended up eventually getting it on DVD, but quite frankly, it is a fucking slog to get through because it is horrendous. Outside the music and singing, of course, I rather like musicals. But, yes, having an 11-year-old have a sexual awakening doing the twerk competition in not a third world country is a bit much. I could just imagine myself trying to say, okay, just for the fuck of it, just watch. Okay, story. Alright, pretty good. Downtrodden, runs away, wants to just not be oppressed. Okay. Okay, they're dancing. Okay, I got the routine. Alright, now. Fast forward. Okay, now dancing's over. Back to the plot. Okay, feelings. Alright, they're dancing again. Okay, got it. I got it from the first time. Okay, fast forward. Okay, back to the plot. Alright, well, this cringe a little bit at crappy humor. It's because they're going to do crappy humor. I just know it. And credits, and it's like, okay, saw it, can do a full review on it. I can imagine that's how it goes. Because you're trying to do a subject matter that's cringe-inducing and try to make it charming or endearing. And it's like, you can't because they're too young and it's into a professional setting. I'm sorry. It's just not going to work. Hell, I have Florida Project, and it would be a better fucking film. And that's where the child is basically being raised by her mother in a motel room, who has probably not even been to a hospital since she was born, or been to school. And it's still a better film. I wouldn't spoil the ending for you, even though it is shit, but I won't spoil the ending for you. The DVD says William Dafoe gives an outstanding Oscar performance or Oscar-worthy performance in this movie. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. He gives a good performance because that's all what the role asks of him, and nothing more. So it's not an Oscar-worthy role because it's not that much of a big or complex role to begin with. So yeah, why don't they just call this what it is? Twerking girl. And if I remember correctly, which I do, on The Simpsons specifically, Homer Simpson, the most insufferable jackass character which he eventually evolved into, even in the current evolution of him being a raving jackass, he still has a firm stance on children smoking and the fucking sexualization of costumes for Halloween, because he actually comes across. He goes to Lisa. He goes with Lisa to the costume shop and starts seeing these sexualized costumes, and it's like these aren't for adults. These are for children. Strangely enough, and it's like okay, that's a little weird. That's a little disturbing, a little uncomfortable. Like even more uncomfortable, he sees the ages drop further and further down as he reads off the tag and he says, "Twerking girl." And it's like, oh, and it's clearly like for like an 8-year-old or whatever, and he's like, just like, what? Like, so he doesn't play it stupid. He plays it as just offended, like, what the hell is this? Which I like. The only good points in the modern era Homer that I like is that he takes a firm stance against sexualization of a child, and saying smoking is okay even just to try it out. So I like that. That's good. Yes. It, it, oh, goodness gracious me. Goodness gracious me. I mean, the movies people try to get away with. And someone decided to do not Sharknado, but Birdemic for all of $5. It looks like. But it like salt. Anyway, takes me back. Anyway, so yeah, as much of a concept they're trying to convey that yes, and yes, it is a bit early to say 11-year-olds have a sexual awakening. Yeah, it's too soon because that's too early. The reason we divide kids from teenagers at 12 to 13 because that's when the sexual awakening tends to happen, is around that age, not 11. It's too young. You know, kids kids don't grasp the concept of change very well. It's a new concept. Like a lot of things in life, they will soon come across. Life has been steadily the same for the past 10 years. The next 10 years is all change, and then the other 10 years after that is basically leveling off from the previous 10 years. Speaking of previous 10 years, okay. And yes, there is a thing where every generation has a previous generation that looks at them and says, ugh, I don't like that dance, it's too evil, something. Back in the 20s, or in the turn of the century, there was a thing called swingers before it became, well, what it became today. They call them swingers because they swing their arms around, and kick their legs out and twirl and shit. It's too physically loud, because before that you had the cha-cha, the mambo, the waltz. You had all those choreographed scenes where you're together with somebody. It's more of a slow, subdued um, music and style of dancing. And then later on, oh god, I forget what World War II movie that was, but two friends. One was indoctrinated to be a Nazi, and the other one's not. The one that's not is all. They're both the swingers, and that's their parties that they listen to slightly faster music, more horns, and not less piano or cellos, I believe. So it's a lot more Not tuba, but no, not saxophone, trumpet. It's more trumpet, I guess. Yeah, more trumpet than anything else. So, so every next generation has that generation before tell it, I don't like your chants. Hell, people didn't like the worm back in the day, or the grind. That was a 90s thing, I believe, was the grind, and people didn't like that. It says, no grinding at this school. Like, yeah, I got that. So each generation has their dance moves that they don't like. It's too adult for children to do. And they're kind of sort of right. You know? Because kids like to think that they're such grown ups. I call bullshit on that. Yeah, it's called responsibility. If you can master responsibility, then you're more considered an adult. I'm sorry, twerking and grinding and doing the worm. No, that does not mean you're an adult. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, no. Uh, I know adults today that can't do adult things. Yeah, responsibility, even temperament. How to handle yourself in a situation. That's considered an adult. Not because I know how to rub my crotch against someone's ass. Like, look up the freaking like, open a dictionary. Like, come on. Like, look what adult means. What does that mean? I know an adult meant because I had adults. I had responsible parentage growing up. Of course, how much that backslided in the later years, but I'll get to that. So, will I check this movie out? Possibly, but that's under a very, very boring time frame with a lot of alcohol and possibly these things. But yeah, I I don't know what anybody in this production staff, production crew, or anything was ever thinking. Hell, what's it? Funimation, oddly enough, said uh, with species reviewers, they said this is beyond our repertoire. We don't do this. You mean have characters actually get laid on camera, kinda, as opposed to the constant, constant, full frontal nudity that they have in certain shows, and they do, and they do. So they're fine with full frontal nudity, but what they're not comfortable with is actual, you know, borderline head tie. Oh well, then it's a good show. I liked it. It was supposed to be like educational, and this it's too much for us. It's like you're an anime distribution and dubbing company. Like, is this really like beyond your purview? Ugh, it so is. Right. Should we point out your catalog, by the way? Whatever. Alright, so this is gonna come out on Netflix, so let's see what Netflix does. And maybe I'll make a review about it. I don't know. I haven't really decided. Like, again, it really really is determined by how bored I am when this thing comes out. Alright, so I'll talk to you later. Bye.